The engine's going in, the engine's going in. Come on, boys. Oh, you're supposed to let Tucker do his like little thing again.
Yes.
But he was supposed to fall.
A fall. Oh. Look at that. Okay, breather stuff.
Since it's been a couple of months, this was a good plan, but we put the engine underneath the bridge deck, so it was in a protected area. But now we run into the problem that we can't fit any heavy equipment underneath here to be able to lift the engine and move it to the back. So our solution is just brute force and stupidity. Let's see what we can do.
Tucker said he's been visiting the gym every day for like a month now, and he's got to prove it to us.
We're there!
I cannot believe that actually works.
Is there actual like clearance now to? Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so we'll be able to get in. So as always, we're reliant on Colby to help us out. Well, and Tucker. But Colby is getting his engines put in tomorrow, and they're bringing in some big Ford thing, whatever he said, but it can handle this. Gonna come in here, we can move this butt out of the way. Come in and should be able to lift and put directly into our cockpit, which isn't all the way there, but it's at least one step forward, and we should be able to move it from that and get it down into the engine bay. And the pace has been going probably another year before it's actually the engine bay. I'm out of breath.
And now we have a way to get our 600-something pound engine inside our boat.
We've come up with all kinds of engineering ideas as to how to get this in here. They all required a lot of effort. We didn't feel like doing that, so we just decided to procrastinate and wait until
Someone else could do it first.
until something like this was in the yard. That's kind of the beauty of being in a place like this, is someone's always pulling an engine in and out. We just had to wait patiently, and now we get to play with that.
Yep. And thanks again to Colby, who is our neighbor and helps us with a million things because his engines are going in too. So while he's doing that, he's lending us his help and his equipment.
I don't want to put too much pressure on the lift points.
Why would they make them deep, deep?
I said Matt said he didn't want to wear any nice clothes today.
Oh, wait. Me and some man living.
Yeah, apparently. You look alright, Matt? I'm sure it's fine.
With the chain secured to the lift points on our engine, and after double checking what those points actually were, the forks on the telehandler slid through and found a perfectly balanced spot. Just like that, she was ready to leave the ground.
Huh? Matt, do you want the base carried up?
Oh, sure. Whatever we should. Yeah, probably.
It's a good thing Matt keeps me around to look at the big
engine.
picture while he's deep in his headspace with all the tiny details. Someone has to make sure the whole plan makes sense.
If you'll just smash it, it's straight. Hold it. Yes, sir. Good. Back. Yeah, we need to get in. Further that direction.
Once our diesel hybrid was airborne and the pallet was positioned in the cockpit to receive it, we had Colby on the ground calling out directions on how the boom should extend.
It's gonna need to go up a little bit.
This was going to be a tight fit, so we had multiple sets of eyes watching from every possible angle.
All right, now it should clear.
What none of us had considered, though, was the size of the telehandler's carriage and the very real possibility of it smashing straight into our cabin top while trying to reach into the cockpit.
Can it come down a little bit and that would allow him more, or no?
And as it turns out, that massive carriage was absolutely going to stop us from getting the engine far enough inside to set it down.
Yeah, it's taller than what I thought.
It would be nice if we could put it on the pallet, that way when it gets to right here,
Pallet puts you. Well, if I set the pallet on here, I need to put at least 2x12s across this, because being an opening like this is definitely not made to hold.
do you have 2x12?
Not that light.
Oh, it has to go down before it goes up.
Yeah.
Alright, so we need the pallet down there again?
Yep.
Got it? Yeah.
One step forward, one step back. This is a catamaran, so of course, even getting one engine in, we have to do it twice.
You got Oh, are we just gonna leave it like that? All right.
So we need to secure the engine back to the pallet, right?
No.
No?
No, they're just gonna.
It's like cotter pin here.
After removing the carriage from the telehandler and repositioning it for a more direct angle, we finally had the clearance we needed. With that height restriction gone, the hope was that the boom could reach all the way into the cockpit and set the engine down gently onto its pallet this time.
You never
We restrung all the chains,
No, you
this time running them through the telehandler's pivot pin, and got the engine ready for another lift. With everything balanced,
and down
checked,
through that.
and triple checked,
Right here.
we were finally ready
there
to hoist it into the air again. Hopefully for the last time.
Open us up. You want it tighter?
All right, Tucker, get ready to run that pallet up.
Yeah, the only other thing. Can we?
He's in backup. Move over, Matt. He's in backup. Oh, God.
Yeah, we're good.
The only thing he can do is he can curl up that. Oh. Hey, Rob.
Oh, yeah, that helps. Oh, are we still gonna be too tight?
Down. Down. I think this could be a game event.
Yep.
Yeah, flip it angle to your side. Yeah, I'll really see what to do. On the cool pump, gonna get up on this side.
All right, so he can come in like 2 to 3 inches as he is right now. Yeah, we gotta lower it. Stop. In.
Well, this stop before we.
Yeah.
Or we are just going to slide it back.
Now I'm seeing, and then he'll start coming down. We do like this.
Okay.
Alright, down.
Oh no, he's just curling down right now. We want the whole thing. I can guide him right now.
I think we need you to. Yeah.
All right, what do you guys see?
Him out.
All right, stop.
Tell him to go down some and I can push. Yeah, just the
Move down. Move down.
yeah. If I can get the pressure off of this.
Alright, he can come in like if you wanted to. Okay.
Got it. You can push it from here. From here. This, we use that off and it's put down. Okay, now we just need to lift it up to on a hose right now. There's it. Let's get him back.
Yep.
So we need open. Yeah.
Get the
Got
slide.
it.
Slide toward Tucker.
Yep.
You're good.
I feel that a little bit. Yeah, that was some weight. That worked.
We have an engine.
Oh, his heavy stuck by to actually work. You start pulling it out like I was like, it says it's knocking. You look at it, it's knocking. Yeah, and I just woke. Yeah. Holy crap!
Is your heart racing a little bit, Matt?
Huh?
Is your heart racing a little bit?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, well, oh, there's a chip I need to fix.
No.
More fiberglass work, more sanding.
filling.
At least another full day of sanding. Oh, dude, that truly is going to be like that's like a week of sanding right there. But no, we got him in. So we got it in place now. Now it's the moving it from here to there, and then there down to there, and then there up and down a bunch of times. And but it feels so good to get this out from underneath the boat.
And we got the hardest part done. We're just getting it.
Yeah, hard part done.
In the last episode, Matt was crawling around up in the forward lockers, drilling big holes and glassing in our 3-inch fiberglass tube to give all our wiring a clean shot across the bow. All of that happened outside the living space, accessed only from the deck, so thankfully all the dust and chaos stayed out there instead of inside the boat. But now, with the cold and the progression of the project, it's time to bring this work inside. Back when all our interior pieces were first coming together, we pre-planned a route for our wiring and plumbing to have it easily run along the hull. We drilled holes through the structural pieces next to the chamfered panel and ran PVC pipe from the beginning of our berth at bulkhead 6, under the media station and under the steps, through our closet, and then stopped it right at bulkhead 5, waiting for the day we'd know where everything in the head was actually going to live. With having all the cabinets built, and now making decisions on where things like faucets and outlets will be, it's time to pick up that pathway again. So today, I'm in the master head, prepping and glassing the next set of holes so we can keep this conduit run moving forward and keep connecting each section of the catamaran until every pathway links cleanly from one space to the next. Using some of the offcuts from our 3-inch fiberglass tube, Matt also trimmed down smaller sections to match the thickness of our 1.5-inch interior bulkheads. These act as little reinforcing sleeves to strengthen areas that are starting to look a bit like structural Swiss cheese. After a quick scuff sand to give the surface some tooth, each piece gets coated in total boat structural putty. The inside of the drilled hole gets the same treatment before the fiberglass sleeve is set into place. Matt smooths out the excess putty with his fingers, fills any gaps, and once everything is seated just right, we leave it to cure overnight so I can take over with sanding the surface and prepping it for glassing. Now that Matt has bonded in the support for the hole where we're eventually going to run wires, it means that I can glass it from both sides. But before that, it is time to sand everything down. We need to get back to bare fiberglass and that green foam for me to bond onto. And these areas, thankfully, are a little bit lighter. They just got the lightest variant in paint. But I'm still going to suit up in Tyvek because fiberglass dust is going to be flying everywhere.
And once I have those plus that new hole sanded down, all of the resin smoothed down so there's no hard edges, I can take our little strips of fiberglass and bond that into the bulkhead. Well, we had exactly what happened, what I didn't want. And now this is in pieces. And it was my last piece. So thankfully I'm just about done with this side, but now I've got to go around into that side of the bulkhead and sand that off too. So it's a little bit more accessible. I might be able to use my mouse sander. I've got some 60 grit. Hopefully that will take it down, but there's still just like one little corner in here that this would have been perfect at. Guess I'll just have to add that to the wish list. Now that I have gotten all of the areas sanded and cleaned down, I'm ready to go ahead with my glass. Got strips that are just, I don't know, about an inch wide by a few inches long. Usually takes about 8 of these to go around it. And then I just take my chip brush with some resin, kind of soak it out, and then use my fingers to just spread it out. A couple of the areas can be much easier than the others, but there's one back in the corner there. That side isn't so bad, but here I have to climb over the water maker and make sure I don't get that messy, so it's gonna be a fun time.
As I go, years I stay, tracks below, the gusts away. Said too much, then said less, hoping time make me forget. So dancing through the weekend, I close my eyes just to feel again. It could pass with no good reason. I want you back, I want you back. Tears fall as I let you go. The train's pulling me back home. Turn around so you never know.
All done with that now. Got the 4 different holes glassed in, so then we'll probably go back, sand those down, and start to kind of like fill and fair and prime the areas again. But now they are ready for us to run wires whenever we get all of our stuff from Victron and Dakota Lithium. Hopefully that should be happening soon, and then we can like really get stuff going in here.
Give me your freedom.
Your pandemonium.